Yo, what is up? It's your boy, Mr. Clutch, and I am here, as always, with the one, the only, the Gamers Lab. And today, we are doing a special request video coming from my man, John Maddox. John Maddox, shout out to you. So in this video, what I'm going to actually be doing is he requested a video breakdown of how to operationally play Madden NFL 16. What he said was, and I agreed with, is that a lot of people put out tips every year. A lot of people show gameplay, a lot of people show ebooks, a lot of people show, tip breakdowns, and they assume that everyone that watches the Madden videos are expert game players and already know how to do all the setups for everything that we're suggesting, and all we're doing is telling you what setups to do. Well, what he made me realize and think of is that there are a lot of guys out there that don't know how to do the setups that we're telling you guys to do. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do for John Maddox and other players like him is do two videos, one for offense and one for defense, that specifically explains every breakdown of every adjustment pre-snap in the game. Before you guys get into your next game, you can watch the video and see how to do the setups for all the things that you guys are watching videos on how to do in the game. So like I said, it's going to be a two-part series. Don't have a name for it yet, probably just call it Operational Madden Video. But basically what it is, like I said, I'm just going to break down how to adjust pre-snap mostly on offense and defense. So today I'm going to do the offensive video, and then I'll do the defensive adjustment video and explain everything on defense on how to play the game. I apologize to some of my viewers that have expressed issues with long videos, but this is going to be a long one. Quick tip, this isn't going to be one of them, but if you guys do, the guys that do like the long videos, you're in for a treat, because I'm going to go in depth and break down each adjustment, like I said, on offense and defense. And if you need a refresher or you're new to the game, this will be a great video for you to watch if you can bear the whole thing. And by the end of the video, I promise that you will be a better Madden player for it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the offensive adjustments. So what I'm going to do is basically go button by button and tell you what each one of them does and what situation you'd want to use each one of these things for. So the first thing that you're going to do is press L1. What L1 does is actually affects your line. So that's going to either slide your line left, right, or pinch. You can also use this to max protect, so that every player that is available to block will block. In this specific play, I'm doing a play action, and if you look at the line, you can see they're kind of just dropping back into their natural drop back position. So the middle guy's going to drop straight, and the left, right, and left guards and right guards are dropping kind of a little bit at an angle. So what I want you to do is pay attention after I adjust and look at their new angle routes. So the first thing I'll show you is if you slide left, look at their play art now. We'll go ahead and slide left by hitting L1 and right on the left analog, on the right analog stick. You're gonna hit L1 and left on the right analog stick. That's what that big R stands for, the right analog stick. And you're gonna hit it to the left to slide your line left. Now you can see that the left two linemen, the left guard and the left tackle, both have kind of an exaggerated drop back where they'll actually slide left to pick up any blitz that's coming off of the left side of the field. Now the play art is going to change for them, but your entire line is actually going to do a good job of sliding to the left to compensate for anything coming off the left side. If you pinch, you're going to crash. It's going to pinch down. You're not going to see an adjustment, so that's the only block pretty much where you'll see that nothing happens. You kind of just have to trust that you actually did pinch. And then when you slide right, same thing. You'll see the two linemen on the right, their angle changes and they're now blocking to the right side of the field. You'll get the same effect that you did sliding left, just on the right side. So if you hear anybody saying that they need to pinch their line in reference to the O-line or slide their line left or right, this is what they're referring to. Now the last thing is going to be max coverage. So in this situation, you can see that Gronkowski is actually on a drag route, but he's actually available to block. So I'm going to reset the play, and what I'm going to do is actually, instead of hitting to manually block all of your available players, I'm going to hit max protect, which is left L1 and then up on the right stick. And now you'll notice that Gronkowski and LeGarrette Blount are both blocking. Then you can additionally slide left or right if you want to after you block them, so that they block in the direction that you want them to go. So this can be effective, especially when you want to pick up blitzes, and if something's coming off of one edge, a lot of people say to slide your line in a certain direction, either right or left, and that'll help pick up your blitz a little bit better. So that covers slide protection. That's L1. The next adjustment you're going to want to make is called hot routes. So in order to do hot routes, you have to press triangle. If you don't already know, what a hot route is basically telling your wide receiver to do a different route other than the one that's intended for them to do on the play. You can also use hot routes to change a play where your running back is blocking to your running back going out on a route, or vice versa. If your running back is currently going out on a route, you can press triangle, and in this case R1, and then R2. As you can see at the bottom, you'll see the different routing adjustments, and you can see R2 is for him to pass block. So this is another way also to block your running back, is a way to cancel play action. So I'm going to run the play real quick and show you stock. This is a play action play. He does the handoff, and then he goes out and picks up the incoming linebacker or lineman that are blitzing. But if I want to cancel the play action, that's a common phrase. To cancel the play action, I would pick LeGarrette Blount and R2 to pass block. And now, instead of him doing the play action, my running back will drop straight back, and LeGarrette Blount will go right into the pass blocking set. So that is an effective way to cancel play action. Now note, every positional receiver has a different set of routes that they can do when you coverage audible. When you hot route them. So your running back has some. They do swings. They can block. They can do different curls, check and release, those wheels. Those are all things that a running back's hot routes are out of the backfield. Now if you look at Dobson, who's square, the outside receiver, so you'd hit triangle to do hot route. You select your receiver by hitting square, and then his routes are completely different. So as you can see, where LeGarrette Blount's, my running back, used to block when you press R2, Dobson's now doing a smoke screen. Some of the routes are going to be pretty similar. Most of the routes from wide receivers are all going to be either slants or zigs, but normally the L2 and R2 will be different depending on what position your wide receivers are in. The other thing to pay attention to is if you're hitting L2 and they're on the outside, they're going to do a comeback route, which looks like that. Look at Square's route, where he does out and then he comes back. Now if I audible to triangle, who's Amendola, who's a slot receiver, slot receivers will always go on flats. So you see his route changes to that. And then if you want to do a tight end who is able to block, now he can do a flat, but as you'll see, he also has a pass blocking option because he's an available pass blocker. Whereas if you hit circle or even triangle, their hot route is a hitch or a comeback depending on what position they're at. So if you're a blocker and you hit R2, you will block. If you're an outside receiver and you hit R2, you'll do a comeback. And if you're a slot receiver and you hit R2, you will do a hitch. Another good thing to notice about this play is that with a hitch, they're unbumpable. So if somebody's running man press on you and you got to get a quick pass open, I usually, against man press, always want to have at least one hitch on the field. You can also smart route it, so instead of it only going 2 or 3 yards, it'll go 10 yards. That brings me to another point, smart routing. A lot of the quick audibles, as well as other routes in the game, are available to smart route. What a smart route does is basically dynamically, depending on where you are on the field, will change where the route runs and breaks. So if we look at triangle and we put him on a hitch, he does a very quick hitch. He only goes, 3 or 4 yards, but he ends up, about a 5-yard play. But pay attention to the same routes that get smart routed. So I press triangle and I push R2. He's now on a hitch, but I take it one step further and I press triangle again and press R1, which is a smart route. And now his route changes and he goes deep. And if you look at the play, he'll drop a lot deeper. So that's another useful thing to keep in mind. Now you use these kind of hot routes not only to block your running backs, but also to set up combinations and get different routes and get different areas of the field open from any given play in the game. One common concept that you can use is slants. If you want to slant somebody, you can easily do that, or a double slant, something like that. And then another common route concept is curl flats. You never need to come out in a play called curl flats. Don't waste it. Come out in a different play and then just quick audible and hot route to the curl flat concept on the left side of the field. So to do the curl flat, you would hit triangle, L2 on the inside receiver, and then you would hit triangle and square and push down to put him on a curl route. So now you have a curl flat concept which beats zone, and you can either hit the curl or the flat. So that's hot routes by pressing the triangle button. The next possible thing that you can do is audible. To audible, you hit square. Now, when you audible in this year's game, you can audible to any play that is similar to with the personnel that you have on the field. So let's actually go back to the play call screen and I'll show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. So on the right side of the field, on the right side of the screen, after you pick your play, you'll see something called personnel. 1, 2, 2 is the personnel. That's how people commonly say it. The first number being the running backs on the field, the second number being the tight ends, and then the third number being the number of wide receivers. So in this formation, single back ace, you have running back, you have 2 tight ends, and you have 2 wide receivers. In a gun tray or a common gun scheme, usually you'll have either running back, 1 tight end, and then 3 wide receivers. If you go to like a 5 wide set, it could be mixed, and then that depends on the formation. For example, this 5 wide scheme still has 1 running back, 1 tight end, 3 wide receiver. Now the important thing in reference to audibling to this is that you can only audible to other formations that have the same personnel. It doesn't matter if it's shotgun, under center, whatever, pistol. If it has 1 running back, 1 tight end, and 3 wide receivers, you can audible to it. If you have any formation that has I form, you can audible to strong, you can audible to weak. Any formation that has 2 running backs, 1 tight end, 2 wide receivers, you can audible to that formation. So that is an important thing to keep in mind when you're playing, and specifically when you're building your scheme, so that when you come out in one play, what other plays you can audible and get to, and other formations you can audible and get to get other areas of the field open. So for this example, I'll come out in gun doubles, and it'll just be a random play. We'll call something here on defense real quick, and to show you guys exactly what I mean. Now when I press square, I can audible to any formation in my playbook that has 3 wide receiver, 1 tight end, and 1 running back. Now sometimes the names glitch out and it'll say the same name of the play that you came out in, even though you'll actually be switching audibles. But if you know your playbook, you should know based on the names of the audibles what formation you're switching to. So as you can see, the Patriots have a ton of 3 wide receiver, 1 running back, 1 tight end formations. So you can audible to a lot of different stuff and then get to many different plays. Again, keep in mind what personnel you came out in on your original play at the play call screen, so you know what plays you can get to. Now I'll talk about quick audibles. So the quick audibles are the plays that you can get to from every formation when you audible. So for example, we will get back to our original play here. And as you can see, you can call, I came out in that PA shot pass play. And the quick audibles for this formation is slants. So the audible, you would hit square and then square. You got the running play inside zone. You got L1, which is the Y sail, and then you have R1, which is the play action. So the way the structure of the formations are normally, the audibles are normally built, is usually triangle is your quick pass, or I'm sorry, square is your quick pass, triangle is your run, L1 is your like deep field, down the field pass, and then R1 would be your play action. So that's pretty much how all the formations are built. But just because the formation has one set of audibles in one playbook does not mean that those audibles will be the same in every single playbook. In the Patriots, I have PA read and inside zone as my run play, for example, PA read as my play action. If I go to Atlanta Falcons playbook and go to the gun doubles formation, there's no guarantee, and it's actually more likely than not going to be the exact same audibles. So when you are building your scheme and choosing your playbooks, not only do you want to pay attention to the formations, especially if you're in MUT where you're running a stock playbook and you can't set audibles, you want to pay attention to the audibles that are set stock in each playbook so you know what you can get to, and that determines a lot on how you want to pick your playbook and run your scheme. For me, I hate draws and I love inside zones out of shotgun. They're effective this year. So a playbook that has inside zones as the quick audibles and halfback base are a lot more appealing to me than playbooks that mostly feature halfback draw as the quick audible to the run. So other things that you can do when you audible, instead of just audibling plays, you can also reset the play so that you come out in the original play that you called from the play call screen. So to give you guys an example here, I audible to a completely different formation, and I ran the stick out of the gun tight formation. Now, if I want to reset the play to get back to the original play that I came out in, that PA shot pass out of gun doubles, all I have to do is hit L2, and as you can see, they get back to their original play. And another thing that you can do is flip your play. Now, it does not flip your original play, it flips whatever play you currently have called. So in this situation, I'll hit square to audible and I'll hit R2. And as you can see, Gronk switches to the left, Dobson will go to the right, and the routes are all flipped, and it's just a completely flip the formation. Now if I switch to a completely different formation, switch to this formation here, we'll run the Z spot. And so if I come out in this play, I come out in my original play and I switch to this play and now flip it, I'm going to flip the current play on the field. Whereas when I pressed L2 and went to my original play, I went to the original play I called in the play call screen. So making that distinction is very important. The other thing you can use to the other reason why you'd want to use the original play by hitting L2 is if you mess up some audibles. So say I want to do a slant to Amendola and a streak to Gronk. That's what I meant to do. But I accidentally hit up on the right stick and faded Gronk instead. Or, I might have hit R2 by accident and blocked Gronk. Well, one of the things that I can do is press square and L2. It will reset the play and put all the original routes out there on the field that I called in the play call screen and get back to them very easily. Another reason this is useful is if you want to go back to a route that was originally in a play that's not a quick audible. For example, there's no quick audible for this post route that Dobson's on. So if I want to audible to a slant and then I decide later, or I get back to the line of scrimmage and I want to change the play, then I want to get Dobson back on that post route, I would hit square to audible and L2, and there his original post route is. So that's why you'd want to use L2 to be effective to quickly audible back to your formations and just kind of mix it up. And then the last tip that I'll tell you guys about audibling is you can't do it in practice mode, but after your play is ran, as long as it's not an incomplete pass or a turnover, i.e. a completed pass or fumble, you can tap triangle and it'll get you to your original play that you called from the play call screen. This is effective for when you want to do the no huddle offense and you don't need to press L1 in the play call screen. You see that the defense you're playing against is in a bad formation. You see something open and you don't want them to get back to the play call screen, so they pick a new play. You will quickly press triangle as soon as your play is over, and then your offense will run right back to the huddle. Right back to the line of scrimmage without huddling, and you'll be able to run that play again. From there, you can also audible to your full repertoire of audibles that you have based on the personnel that is currently on the field. So that's pretty much audibling in a nutshell. The next thing that you can do, and the last thing that I'll cover for the offensive tips for pre-snaps adjustments, is the motion. So when you currently see that by default there's a big circle around the quarterback. So in order to motion, you can motion any place, basically anybody on the field, depending on the play and depending on the formation. So to motion, you'll hit circle. Now let me talk about some caveats first of all. If there is already a motion on the field, it will not let you motion. If your running back is on a play action, it won't let you motion. If you're in a run play and your running back is running the ball, it's not going to let you motion. And then there are also some specific formations where you can only motion one player to one side of the field, or you might not be able to motion them, and that is very play specific, so I won't cover that. But you can figure it out when you go to practice mode and be able to tell where they motion and if they can motion based on the arrows. So take a look at LeGarrette Blount. As you can see, he has the light blue arrows to the left and to the right side of the field. What that means is that LeGarrette Blount can, if he's in a passing play based on this formation, he can either motion to the left or the right side of the field. So for example, you highlight over LeGarrette Blount and then you just tap the left stick to the direction you want him to motion, either the left or the right, and then he'll motion there. You can then bring him back if you want and take him to the other side. So he can go either way. Now, one thing you need to be careful of when motioning, especially running backs or slot receivers, is that a lot of times when you motion, their route will change. So for example, LeGarrette Blount is going to start on a wheel in the backfield. If I motion him and he goes up to the line of scrimmage, on this play, he still stays in a wheel. But we're going to go out in the gun tight doubles on, where he'll actually motion out and become the outside receiver. As you see, he's in a wheel. We'll motion him out, and now his route changes to a fade. So this is very, like I said, formation and play specific as far as stuff like that, but just something you want to keep an eye on. It can be a good thing or a bad thing. If you're trying to do something specific where you want him on a wheel on the outside, it won't work. But there's other times where putting a person in a certain position that a wide receiver won't normally be able to be on, and then motioning can actually be helpful to your offense and helpful to your play to get something open. So we've covered getting on the wide receiver or the person that you want to motion. If you want to hold circle, you can actually switch quicker to who you want to motion. So right now I'm holding circle and I'm just tapping the D-pad or the stick, either one. I prefer the D-pad because it's more precise, to the left or the right, so you highlight over the person that you want to motion. So for this play, I can motion Amendola, and as you can see, he can motion either left or he can motion right. Same thing with, let's take a look at Dobson. Motion left, motion right. Gronk. Pretty much anybody on the field can motion left or right. So what you do is once you get over top of the person, you just hit left or right on the stick. And then let me tell you guys one more key point. You always have to have 7 people on the line of scrimmage. So what that means is, if you are motioning someone on the play that is currently on the line of scrimmage, you have to wait until they get set on the line of scrimmage, wherever you motion them to, before you can snap the ball. What's more effective is motioning people that are off of the line of scrimmage, because once you put them in motion, you can snap the ball at any point that you want. For example, Aaron Dobson is on the line of scrimmage. I'm going to motion him out far left. I'm tapping X, but I can't snap the ball. I can't snap the ball until he gets set fully, and then I set, and I can run the play as normal. Now, if I want to snap the same side of the field, let's audible back to that formation. If I want to snap on the same side of the field, I also have Danny Amendola, but he is off of the line of scrimmage. So what that means is that I can snap the ball to him. I can snap the ball with him in motion at any point before or after, he sets. So I'm going to actually snap him to the left now. As soon as he takes a step, I'm going to snap the ball, and I can snap it, and he'll go out for his route. This is effective, especially when you're playing against people that are running two-man press. I'll show you here. This is a little added bonus. We're going to run cover two-man, and we're going to press. As you can see, Amendola is now pressed. I'm going to audible to the formation where I can motion him gun tight doubles on, which is a very good formation, by the way. And I'm going to put him on a slant. Now what I'm going to do is motion snap him. I cover this a lot in my in a lot of my videos that I do for offense on how to get certain plays open and things I like to do. But for this specific example, I'm going to motion snap. What that means is I'm going to motion him, and as soon as he takes a first step or two, I'm going to snap the ball, i.e. motion snap. So what I'm going to do is motion him out to the left. As soon as he takes one or two steps, he's going to run his slant route, and then he'll actually, because you're motioning him pre-snap, he doesn't get a press and he gets open, and then it's just a cheap way to beat cover two-man press. So snap the ball. As you can see, he doesn't get pressed, and then he cuts back and runs inside and gets a slant. Now the last thing I want to talk about is the fact that you can only motion one person per play. So we'll go back to the play. Gun double stick. I'm going to motion Danny Amendola out to the left. Wait for him to set. Now you can see their arrows are still there on the other players, but you can't motion them. I'm hitting left stick, right stick. You can't motion them because you motion Danny Amendola. Now if you want to motion someone else, you can. You just have to motion Danny Amendola back, and then you can motion anybody else on the field that you want. Julian Edelman, whoever. And as you can see, their route will change a little bit, but sometimes if they come out with a stock play, their route will actually stay the same. You can go ahead and snap the ball, and we're good to go. So the last thing that I want to talk about real quick as far as motioning is using the motion as an extra blocker to pick up blitzes. So one thing that I really like to do when people are sending, these ridiculous A, B, C, D, E, F, G gaps, blitzes, nanos, whatever, is motion snap one of my receivers that are off the line of scrimmage right to the middle of the field so that they actually block instead of going out in their route. Now by default, I can't block Danny Amendola. His route is a hitch. When you try to hot route by hitting triangle and square, you can see his selection of hot routes comes up, and his R2 is a hitch. Now, if I want to make him block because he's off the line of scrimmage, all I have to do is motion. It doesn't matter what route he's on. If I snap the ball while he's inside the tackle box between the tackles, actually it's probably a foot or two outside the tackle box. If they get close to any of the offensive linemen, instead of going out on his route, he's going to actually block for me, and then I have 7 people blocking. Or if you want to send your running back out on a route because they're on a route that you like, and you have a wide receiver that's off the line of scrimmage that doesn't have a route that's significant for the play, instead of blocking your running back, you can block 6, pick up the blitz, and still have your running back out on the route to pick up the play, get a first down. Reason why I would like to do this is if you have somebody that's blitzing off of the edge, and you want to get your running back out open in the edge, instead of blocking your running back and taking that flat option away, you can block your wide receiver by motioning him, and then you still have LeGarrette Blount or whoever you have going out on a route. So let's pretend that dude that's acting like he's blitzing is actually going to blitz, and he's the flat route. So instead of blocking LeGarrette Blount, we'll motion Danny Amendola. Once he takes a step or two, as you can see, he picks up the block. Now that guy would have been blitzing, and LeGarrette Blount would have been wide open in the flats to pick up yards. So again, just to recap, we talked about slide protection by hitting L1 and then sliding your line in any direction. We talked about hot routing by hitting triangle, selecting the receiver that you want to hot route, and then just selecting the route that you would actually like to do. We talked about audibling to different formations. We talked about resetting your play, flipping your play, and we talked about personnel, so you know what routes what plays you can get to. And then lastly, we talked about motioning by hitting circle and then motioning your wide receiver to put him in a better position for the play or to pick up the block. That's pretty much all I got for pre-snap setups for offense. Stay tuned for the next video. Like I said, we will cover defense and teach you guys how to do all the pre-snap adjustments, setting up nanos, moving people, shifting, sliding the line, crashing, base aligning, all that crazy stuff that you guys hear. We'll go over in the defensive pre-snap operational Madden 16 video. Again, shout out to John Maddox and anybody else in TGL that's either new to the game or you haven't played in a while and the controllers might have changed or whatever. You need a refresher. Here it is. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope it helps. I'm begging you, if you guys have anything else you want to see, or if there's anything that I'm not covering, anything you want me to do a better job on, leave a comment. I read all of the comments. I try my best to at least like or reply to the comments so you guys know I'm watching, know I'm paying attention to you, and know that I'm trying to bring you the best content out here on YouTube. So other than that, make sure you do the following: like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Other than that, it's Mr. Clutch. I'm out.